Tesla seems to be signing a contract with Samsung over a $400 million camera deal for apparently the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck wasn't directly referenced in this news report from the Korean Economic Daily, but they did say that the contract would be with the #1 US electric automaker, which of course is Tesla, and they also mention in this report that it's for a vehicle which does not have side view mirrors and is using a camera in replacement of those things. So this got a lot of gears turning in my head because we've talked about the Cybertruck a lot over the past few months, and one of the reasons I'm really excited for a production update version of the Cybertruck is because the prototype that we've all seen and know and love so much does not have side view mirrors, which is not currently legal. And according to this report, it sounds like Tesla is almost just gonna move forward with mass production of a vehicle that does not have side view mirrors, despite what the US is allowing for currently. And honestly, it's gonna be really weird if Tesla kind of does the same thing they do with the yoke on the Model S, where they announce it and everyone is really unsure if it's legal at all, and then it comes out and the NHTSA goes, it might be legal, it might not be legal, we're not really sure, we'll think about it and come back to you. But I feel like the side view mirror thing has been a lot more clear in the past. So in Europe, actually, you can have vehicles with cameras and displays instead of side view mirrors. They've been allowing that for a while, but the Cybertruck is by no means a vehicle catered to the European market, and it's probably not coming there for many years. And given the United States still has this law, I don't think Tesla is going to be able to get away with it as easily as they were with the yoke. Otherwise, Tesla would have it much more in their interest to get rid of side view mirrors across all of their vehicles, because it creates a very high amount of drag and it lowers your range across Model 3, Model Y, S, and X. So if it was possible for them to move towards cameras and just having visuals inside the display, I believe there's been talk for a while that if there were no side view mirrors, then your side view camera would show up on the display whenever you turned on the signal, or perhaps Tesla would add little interior displays that would be on the inside of the vehicle, therefore you could still look to the left or look to the right to check what's going on behind you, but you wouldn't have a giant mirror that's lowering your range on the outside of the vehicle. Safe to say it would definitely look a bit weird to imagine any of Tesla's vehicles in the sexy lineup without side view mirrors. It just makes them look very egg-like, but knowing Tesla, I feel like for aerodynamic reasons, they would definitely be in favor of moving towards cameras instead of mirrors. And I have seen concept art, like from Allwyn Art, of what the Cybertruck could look like with side view mirrors, and I don't think it ruins the design. It might interfere with range quite a bit, but I imagine the gigantic battery packs that are going to be in the Cybertruck, they're going to be able to plow through all kinds of aerodynamic inefficiencies, and with the Cybertruck likely going to be towing and having a rack and people mounting stuff in it, or storing more stuff in the vault and the doorway can't close and that type of thing. Side view mirrors I don't think will completely destroy the range of the Cybertruck, but if Tesla knows something we don't, and they are actually able to release this vehicle legally without mirrors, I'm gonna be pretty impressed, because that'll be a pretty dang close to spot-on unveil production model of the prototype which we saw in 2019, with likely the biggest difference still being windshield wipers, which I still have no clue how they're gonna implement that in a way that's subtle and doesn't completely destroy the iconic look of the Cybertruck's front windshield and front. But again, I don't know what they're gonna do, so I would absolutely love to see an update image, Elon, if at all possible. But finding out that they're signing this $400 million contract is a bit encouraging, because it once again shows that perhaps Tesla is in the process of ordering a bunch of the parts for the Cybertruck, as Giga Texas is ramping up construction pretty quickly and patching up those sides of the factory that are rumored to be for Cybertruck production. So if they're now in the process of contacting suppliers saying this is how many cameras we need, likely gonna be contacting, the different suppliers for air suspension and those different tires, and I assume the 17-inch display on the Cybertruck is probably the same display as the one in the Model S and X, so they might be contacting the same suppliers for that. But these are ultimately the steps and the signs you want to see before a vehicle goes into mass production, so it's a good sign overall. And some people have been trying to speculate exactly how many cameras Tesla is ordering for the Cybertruck if this is a $400 million deal. And these cameras Tesla uses in their vehicles are not super fancy, they're usually 1.2 megapixels. These are not the same types of cameras that go into your smartphone. They're definitely not the same cameras Samsung puts in their phones, but for automaker cameras, they typically try to make them work in a higher range of temperatures because they're going to be used outside pretty much exclusively, and the camera modules Tesla is purchasing are likely, meaning this is not just including the sensors themselves, it's likely including a lot of the wiring and the Ethernet that goes throughout the vehicle to maintain a high bandwidth signal, and there's no confirmation on what type of camera modules these are, so I guess I have a glimmer of hope that perhaps with the Cybertruck, Tesla would be willing to up the resolution a little bit more, or up the frame rate or the dynamic range, because I know we're leaning really heavily into Tesla Vision, and that's what the 3Y, S, and X are all building full self-driving software on, but in the future, I think there's not really a great reason to prevent the cameras from getting better or letting the full self-driving software have a better idea of what's going on around it so that it can read road signs from further away a lot better or be able to detect its environment a lot better. So if they could up the megapixel count to the Cybertruck cameras and make it overall a higher resolution that everyone can notice when using the backup camera or using the side view cameras, if there's not going to be side view mirrors. Plus on the Cybertruck, there's going to be a dedicated rear view screen where normally a mirror would be, which I think is a great advantage because even if you have a ton of furniture and stuff loaded into the bed of your truck, you'll still be able to see behind you. Most pickup trucks won't have that advantage because they have a physical mirror there that can be covered very easily. So if you're going to have a display dedicated to one camera at all times, makes sense to make that camera as high resolution as possible. And who knows, maybe the next generation full self-driving chip will be ready for prime time by the time the Cybertruck production starts next year. But my biggest question I have for you guys that I'm not really sure how I feel about is if Tesla is able to legally get away with no side view mirrors, do you think they should have interior displays on the left and right that the driver would look at so that it's kind of similar muscle memory to side view mirrors? Or do you think Tesla should pull another Tesla where they just decide, no, we can put the side view camera displays on the Cybertruck's main screen. It's a big 17-inch display and you don't need those views to be there at all times. Plus you have the visualization on the screen. That visualizer is going to show you when other vehicles are driving by and are close to the Cybertruck. So they're just going to tell you, you got to learn how to drive differently. Instead of looking here and here for side view angles, now you just look to the middle because that's where your speed is, that's where your directions are anyway. Is that going to be too much of a learning curve for a lot of pickup truck buyers out there? Or do you think if someone is willing to buy the Cybertruck, they're going to be willing to put up with a lot of new things that they're not used to? Feel free to let me know how you guys feel. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.